Hello guys and gals, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in. I am Sling Mustachio and I'm here with another Sling tutorial video. This is the first solid pouch sling that I have made as part of a tutorial video. This is a request by Delta 41212, one of a previous recipient of one of the giveaway slings and a long-time watcher of the channel. A long time, I mean, this channel's only been active for a few months, but he's been one of my original subscribers. So I gotta say, I appreciate it, Delta. Thank you for the idea, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. This sling, to make this sling, I unfortunately didn't get measurement on the piece that does the pouch here, but I've got 3 pieces of 325 paracord that are 18 feet long, and those make up the entire sling with about this much excess. So, I mean, there's quite a bit of excess here. 18 inches or 18 feet makes a 24-inch sling, no problem. And then this piece here, give me a second here, I'll do some math. I would say probably 12 to 15 feet for this section here, just to be on the safe side. It's about 1.5 inches wide here with like 32 stitches, and it's going to be going zigzag. You'll see it in the tutorial. But anyway, so you're going to need one piece, 3 pieces at about 18, and one piece at like 12 to 15 feet. You could just go 18 just to be on the safe side. But anyway, that's what it's going to end up looking like when you're done. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the tutorial, and I hope you enjoy building one of these things too, so stay tuned. So just like in previous tutorials, we're going to be doing a 24-inch sling. This week's color, or this particular tutorial's color scheme, is going to be 2 blacks and a woodland camo paracord, 325. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2-finger loop out of a 6-strand braid, deconstructed and put back together. And so what we're going to start with is finding the midpoint, which I already have here. Come back about like 1 inch or so, and we're going to start doing a 3-strand flat braid, which it might be easier to go ahead and tie in like an overhand knot or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be back here in just a moment. So what I've done here is tied an overhand knot on a bite, so I can just yank this out, pop that loop out when I'm done with it. What we're going to start out with, like I said, is a 3-strand flat braid, which is left to the center, right to the center, left to the center, right to the center. And just keep doing that. We're going to go about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. 325 paracord, it goes a little bit, a few more of these braids than it does with, say, 550 paracord, but that's fine. So we're going to say about there is where we're going to want to go. This actually might be just a little bit too long. Let's go ahead and back that off just a couple. We want to have these be joined together here, but if it gets too long, it actually can cause you some problems with your finger loops. So now let's take one side and pull it aside. In this case, I'm just going to take the camo and pull that one aside. And let's take our 2 blacks and we're going to start twisting them. You might recall, if you've been watching previous tutorials, that I did this on the blue sling that seemed to be a crowd favorite. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. It's actually my current sling that I'm using. It has the same style of finger loop, and I actually really like it. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of twist that down, just twisting these guys together. Try to keep it as consistent and even as you can, and if you notice it's wanting to start doing this kind of a thing, then just undo a couple of your twists. We want it to be twisted together, but not where it's so tight that it wants to start bunching up. So let me see if we've got enough here. See how when I pull it up, you see how it wants to do that? We're going to go ahead and take just a couple of those twists out and try to keep the same amount of length. Take some of that tension out of the whole cord. So now, going to the base of where we started our 3-strand, hold your 2 loops together and kind of see if that feels good or not. In this one, I think that's a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few more of these twists out. and try it again. Holding down the base of that 3-strand, check it. That feels pretty good. So now, let's pull those 3 strands we've been working with aside, kind of hold them down and take that bite and just yank that out. And now what we're going to be doing is a 6-strand, which is just a 3x2, 3-strand flat braid held double. And we're going to do this right here. So let me kind of get stuff situated here for a moment, and I'll show you what we got when we get back to it. Okay, so I apologize. I wish the lighting was a little bit better in here. I'll have to work on that for future videos, but what I've done here, you kind of see where the 2 twisted ones here go. And we've got one of the blacks coming off of the 3-strand. Pulled that off to the left with one of the twists. I've got my 2 camo strands coming back together, and I've got the remaining 2 black strands off to the side. I'm going to adjust that camouflage cord loop until it's the same size as the black one. You kind of see they're a little bit off balance. I'm going to keep pulling it down until they're about the same size. Okay, now we've got 3 sets of 2. So we're going to do the same thing we were doing before with the 3-strand flat. And we're going to treat those 6 strands as if they're 3 strands. Going left to the middle, right to the middle, left to the middle, right to the middle. So it ends up looking kind of like this. Now the problem with using these more neutral colors of paracord is that it's a little harder for me to demonstrate for you guys. A little harder to see, I guess, on the video. I try to do the best I can, but I also try to make slings that are going to be cool looking as well as cool function. So anyways, we're going to go down a couple of inches. Nothing too crazy. You can go as far as you want. In fact, you could do a whole cord out of this 6-strand, 3x2 flat braid. I'm going to, for the sake of flexibility of the cords, or of this particular cord, I'm going to say we're going to stop about that far, which is, I have to have a tape measure right here, about 2 inches from the start of the 3x2 flat braid. So we're going to go down here. I want to keep my camo in this stuff here. So what we're going to do is find a spot where we can drop a black and a black. Probably the ones on the outside. I apologize if I'm not getting this. I'm trying really hard to work around my ammo can. I've got this tripod-ish setup thing going. So if I'm getting up a little too high, I apologize. I am trying to make sure that I keep this down where you guys can see it, but I just have to kind of like work around stuff, and it's a little awkward. So these outer 2 strands, we're going to drop these in this sling, and we're going to go for a 4-strand round from here. So to do that, you start with the highest one up here. We're going to go down under 2, from left to right, under 2, and then back to the left, going over 1. Then we'll take the one on the right and do the same thing in reverse. We're going to go under 2 from right to left, back over 1 from left to right. We do the same thing on the left again. Under 2, over 1. Right, under 2, over 1. Now, we're doing a 24-inch sling, so if you want to do a 24-inch sling, or whatever size sling you're going to be making, you're going to be going, in this case, I'm going to be making a 6-inch pouch, like I do on all my other tutorials. So we're going to take a 6-inch pouch, divide that in half, that's 3 inches, so a 24-inch sling minus 3 is going to be 21 inches, and we're going to go minus another 3, because we're going to need to weave in another section of 2 strands when we get to the pouch. So we're going to be going down to 18 inches in this sling, and I'll see you when we get to that point. So now that we've gotten this done here, we've got our finger loops, got our 3x2 6 strand that we dropped a couple of strands down to our 4 strands, and we've gone from the end of the finger loops to this point is 18 inches. Now we're going to, normally we would clean these up at the end, but we're going to go ahead and trim these off because we need these 2 really long strands here to pick up with our 6 strand from here at this point. So go ahead and trim these guys off, melt this end down up here, and let's get these 2 strands over here ready to be woven in, or braided in. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you back here when you get done with that step. It's funny, kind of looks like a little gecko, 2 eyeballs and a mouth. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. We got our 2 strands cut here, so take a couple of inches of those guys, kind of hang them out here on the end. We're gonna take our 4 strand braid, and we're going to be inserting those 2 strands. And I, of course, dropped them, so now I've got to get everything resituated. Because, yeah, my workroom is a little bit of a mess, guys. And I am working on it, but let's be honest, I have too much crap, so. Alright, so now we take our 2 extra strands, and we're just going to kind of lay them in with 2 of the other strands that make sense. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and keep the blacks together and keep the camos separate. So, just like we were doing before, we're going to do a 4 strand round, but now we've got 2 extra strands to work with. So we're doing, it's like a 4 plus 2 round braid. So start with our highest one, come around the back, under, well, I guess it'd be 4, and then over 2. This other camo one goes around the back and goes over top of the camo one that just came around. Remember to keep your stuff untangled as you work, because they will continue to braid as you're doing this braid here. It's doing the same thing at the back side, and it gets all tangled up real quickly. So now the highest ones are my 2 on the back side, so go around the back. 2 on the left side, that is. Under both of the 2 that are in the middle, and over one of them. Now take the other ones that are on the high side now, around the back, over the ones that just came around the front, and back over. So go ahead and do that. Same process for 3 inches to where we get to the start of the pouch, and I'll see you when we get there. And here we go. So this is what it looks like. It's a little bit of an asymmetrical, kind of lumpy looking braid just because it's supposed to be a 4 strand. We've added a couple extra strands, but it ends up working out pretty well. So now from our beginning of our finger loops all the way back here to this point, we've now got 21 inches. So we've got room for our 6 strands, or 6-inch pouch, I mean. So now what we've got is, if we've kept this all separate, we've got a 1, a 2, a 2, and a 1. Now I've got an extra strand of camo paracord that I'm going to be starting up here with, and we're going to be doing our single solid pouch entirely woven with this piece of paracord here. I am doing the build first. The summary is going to be at the beginning of the video, so I've already got the lengths mentioned at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to go ahead and get this guy set up, find the midpoint, and get it wrapped up here at this point here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you in a second. So I've got my extra strand here. I've wrapped it around the back, like so, dangling here. So this is the middle of it, and I'm keeping all 6 of my other strands laying together. So what we're going to do is start from the one side or the other. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to start on the left just because I've got that here right now. Go over, under, over. Come down to the middle and make sure you get that in there tight. I'm just going to pinch that down. Now we go over to the right side, over, under, over, to the middle. And let's cross those 2. Kind of pull them tight a little bit. Get everything untangled. Now, this is going to get a little bit confusing, guys. There's a lot of strands going here. There's a lot of things to keep track of. Make sure you keep your 6 strands all in line. keep them in sequence like this guy here. It could get really easy to lose where that guy's supposed to go. I know it goes right here in the middle. Make sure you keep track of that stuff. So now, let's just, because this one's laying on top and it's easier to do right now, let's just go ahead and go over, under, over, to the right. Pull it down, pinch it, kind of hold it there in place. Take the one on the left side here. We're going to go over, under, over. Again, pull it tight, push it down. Now let's go back to the right side. Going around, we're going under, over, under, back to the middle. Hold that there in the middle while we do the left side. Going over, under, over, under, back to the middle. So you can already kind of see our pouch is beginning to take shape. So go ahead and just keep on doing that until you get to that process where you've gotten 6 inches worth of your pouch done, and I'll see you when we get back. Okay guys, so I've only gotten about 2 inches so far. This is where we're kind of looking at right here, but I just wanted to pause for a moment to give you the reminder that as you're doing this, you're going to want to keep your weaves bunched up nice and tight, because otherwise when you get to the end, you put all this work into this sling and then your pouch starts opening up. When you actually start using it, it's one of the most deflating and disappointing things that can happen. So always make sure as you're going along, keep your weaves bunched up nice and tight so that your pouch will stay nice and well formed as you're moving along. Just wanted to give that little quick interjection, a little extra thought. Go ahead and keep on working on this till you get to, like I said, a 6-inch pouch or whatever size pouch you're working on. And here we are. So now we've got 6 inches from the start of our pouch over here to where we're at right now. So now what we're going to be doing is, to make sure that the pouch doesn't want to come unwoven, is we're going to braid the remaining little pieces of these pouch strands that we've got here into the release cord as we begin to taper this out to our knot. So we've got 8 strands here, which break out perfectly into a 4-strand round braid, 4 times 2. So take each of your 2-strand groups, start with one of the groups on the outside, left or right, doesn't really matter because right now everything's pretty much symmetrical. I'm going to start with the left. Go around the back, under 2 sets, over 1 set, pull back to the middle. Do the same on the right side, or left side, whichever side you're doing. And again, I'm sorry if this is not staying. Maybe I should just move this up here. Make it easier for you guys to see so that I don't get myself too far in my own head. Make it where you guys can't see what's going on. So there we go. Going around from right, around the back, under 2 sets, over 1. Again, left, under 2 sets, over 1. Right, under 2 sets, over 1. Oops. I'll go back because I messed up here. There we go. Like I said, it gets a little bit crazy when you got this many strands you're working with. Around the back. Make sure I don't lose track of which ones are a set. Okay. Untangle my stuff here, come back around. And let's do this for just a couple of inches here. Just make sure that these guys aren't going to come loose on us. I haven't really decided yet how far that's going to be. I'll kind of let you know what it looks like when we get there, because normally I prove out my sling designs before I do the videos. This is the first one that I have just gone straight into making, so I'm kind of freestyling this as we go along. Okay, I'm thinking that's probably about as far as I want to go with this many cords involved. And that ends up being roughly an inch or so, so I'm good with that. So let's take those two short strands, which were made up of the pouch. Right now they're both in the middle. Let's go ahead and pull those guys aside and treat this like we're doing our 4-strand plus 2 that we did over here. So it's going to be a little tricky to get my brain wrapped around here. Come around and over the black one and leave the camo one out of the group. Do the same on this side, from the right to the left. Leave the short camo out of the group. Come over the black. Okay. Take my single black on the left, around the back to the middle. Okay. So now, got our two short camos out of the way. As you can see, like this. And I really hope that I haven't been working up here for this whole tutorial. Hopefully it's down here where you guys can see. So, now that we've done that, let's go for just another little bit here. Maybe, I don't know, a couple of braids. And then we're going to drop those two black strands that we had spliced in before we started the pouch. And while we're doing this, we're actually starting to taper our release cord, which helps with energy transfer, helps with getting the release cord out of the way of the projectile faster. If you're looking for a nice whip crack at the end, this is a really good way to do it. The more you can taper your release cord, the easier it's going to be for that energy to get transferred to the tip, which is going to make that nice pop sound, if that's what you're looking for. Okay, so here we go. This has been, so we did like an inch. I guess it was about 1.5 inches of that first one. We're doing about the same here. I'm going to go ahead and take the two single strands that I have here, which are in the middle right now. So let's go a little bit more. I want to get those to the outside so it's easier to drop them. So I'm going to go with my get my double strands into the middle. Okay, like that. So drop. Now that I got the two singles on the outside, we're going to go ahead and drop those guys and go to a 4-strand round, starting right here. So take the one that's on the high side, which in this case is the black, around the back, under 2 over 1. Left side, under 2 over 1. And go ahead and do that for, give me a second here to do some math. We're at like 4 inches right now, and we need to be at 21 when it's all said and done. So let's do that 4-strand for, let's say like 5 inches or so. We'll pause the video here, and I'll see you when we get to that point, and I'll let you know exactly what number I came up with. So now we've got 6 inches or so. I think it was actually 5.5 from where we dropped our 2 strands to where we're going to be tying a crown and diamond knot, or any other stopper knot that you can find. I just like doing the crown and diamond because I've got a lot of practice with it. Still have to end up redoing these things a few times, but you know, it is what it is. So I'll show you how we do this. Fan out your 4 strands. Take one of them, I usually just start in the lower left. No real reason to do that, just because the habit I've gotten into. Make a loop and go over the next one in line, counterclockwise. Now take that one that you just went over, and that one's going to go over the next one in line. And that one is going to go over the next one in line. And finally, the last one is going to go over your first one and through the loop that it made. Like that. Now if we slowly and carefully pull some of the slack out of these 4 lines, you'll see we end up with kind of a rectangle, square shape. So now, this one here just went through our first loop. Let's take that guy. Come under that one to the right and through the loop that one's going through and out the middle. And then set that guy aside so it's not in the way. Now let's find the next one in line. Find the end of that. Go under the next one in line and through the loop that it came out of, or yeah, the next one in line that it came out of. Come out through the center, set it aside. Find the end of the next one, we go under the next one in line and through the loop that it came through, out the middle. And finally, the last one, under and through. And we're going to just kind of carefully pull on each one of these guys, a little at a time. Kind of dressing this knot down a little bit. And there we go. So now that's all cinched down. So we're going to drop one, and we're going to be doing a 3-strand flat braid again. So pick your 3. In this case, we're going to go with 2 blacks and a camo. And do a 3-strand flat braid for, I haven't really decided yet. I'll let you know. Go ahead and just work on it. Let's say do about 5 inches or so. And when we get to the next part, the next segment, I'll let you know what I came up with, and you can see it if you want to do the same. Okay, so what I ended up with here for this section was about 6 inches. So that'll work for what we're doing here. Do another crown and diamond knot or another stopper knot, whatever knot you're doing. This one's going to be a 3-strand. It's going to be the same thing we did with the 4, just 3 strands. So go ahead and get your knot done, and I'll show you what we're going to do after we get done with our knots. Okay. Got the stopper knot done. In this case, a crown and diamond. So now we come to the part where we're going to be sizing the sling to our hand, or to what it's going to be overall. So we're making sure we stretch this thing out as we were going along, making all of our braids. Now we're going to make sure that we're stretching it again one last time. And you got 3 strands coming out of your final stopper knot here. You're going to pick 2 of those. In this case, we're going to go with a camo and a black, just because I like that. We're going to make sure that we get our pouch even. Pull an equal amount of tension on both cords, making sure the pouch stays flat and even. And that is where we're going to put in our final stopper knot, which in this case is going to be a figure 8. So we take our 2 strands, go around the front, around the back, like this, and then we're going to go back through that loop at the top. Making a figure 8. Pull it down not too tight, because we're going to have to more than likely make some adjustments to where that knot is at. Holding my knot here and going back down, I can see that my knot definitely needs to be shortened up a little bit to get that pouch more even. So we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of slack out there, work that slack through the knot and back out the tail end. And try it again, and just keep messing with it until you get that sling where it's balanced and the pouch is even. I'm going to keep fiddling with this until I get it right, and then at the end we're going to make our tassel, trim up and burn our ends, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. And there we have it, guys. This is the first solid pouch tutorial that I have done so far, and this is what this guy looks like. So the nice thing is about these pouches, they're a little more flexible in the middle. I mean, they can kind of form to whatever shape you really need them to be, which is kind of nice. They are a little bit more limited on the size of the projectile that they can hold, but it's a pretty flexible, tricky to make for sure, but turned out pretty nice. I think it looks pretty good. Hopefully, whoever ends up winning this guy will enjoy it. So that's this week's sling, guys, or this tutorial's sling. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I hope that they are inspirational to you guys to help you to come up with new ideas and techniques to try out. I definitely hope you enjoy watching these videos as much as I enjoy making them, and I hope even more so that you enjoy these slings if you are one of the giveaway recipients. So if you want to be entered for an opportunity to receive this sling as part of the giveaway, I'm going to be doing that in 2 weeks. Just go ahead and comment sling down below in the comments. If you would like a sling in a style like this or one of the other styles, like one of my other tutorial videos, go ahead and just put an email up at dostobro@gmail.com. I can do commission slings if you would like one. Yeah, I suppose that's about it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoy the content, you might consider liking and subscribing. If you know somebody who's interested in getting into slinging, I would really appreciate it if you'd refer them this way. Maybe help them to make their own slings and to just get some hopefully enjoyable sling content. I'm trying to do weekly content and at least monthly sling giveaways, guys. So again, I appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel, and we'll catch you next time. Be safe out there and watch out for flying rocks.